Good morning, sunshines. Happy Friday, folks.
Good morning, Megan. Happy Friday.
Good morning, Megan. How are you?
I'm doing well. Thank you very much. Hope you guys are having a good morning or a good evening or afternoon or wherever you are. We will get started shortly. Matt, good morning, sir. I see Avi is here. He's got his screen up. We're recording. Everything is set and ready to go. Hello, Sam S. Good morning. Morning, Jay. Do we have any West Coast people in here this morning?
Southern California, right here, baby.
That's right, Dean. We out here in these early hours. Hey, Kevin. Yeah, Vancouver. It is early. You know, ever since Google changed how they show video, my hair takes up the entire little box. It's so funny. They've truncated it. Now it's just all hair. Up since for prepping. That's awesome. I love it.
Hey, Megan. Hey, everybody. Happy Friday.
Hey, Avi. Good morning / good evening, sir.
Yeah, what are you guys doing at 5 a.m.? It's 5 p.m. here. It's about sunset. It's almost happy hour, really.
I'm just questioning my life choices.
There you go. That makes sense.
Morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
All right.
Have a new shirt from the closet?
Yeah, well, old shirt from the closet. I dug it up after about 3 years. So, Floral Friday, you know the theme.
So slick.
We're always going colorful on Friday.
What a stud.
You gotta have it. It's also silky, I like it. It's just kind of nice.
Yeah.
You gotta get the dress code right in this room, guys. Come on.
It's very, very important. Meanwhile, it's casual Friday over here, so I'm in a hoodie, but I do have the hoops on, so it's it's a fashionable hoodie situation.
Awesome. I love it. All right. So, well, everyone here has been seeing my pre-market routine for the last few days, which only takes about 3 seconds. So, Megan, you got any elaborate routine you want to run through or go through or talk about? Share a screen.
Yeah, we can do that. So I'm just going to preface this really quickly and say that for the past few weeks, I actually have not been day trading. I've only been focused on my swing trading. So this is a special moment to be here this early in the morning right now, looking at day trading. But I am happy to do it with PCT. So it's good to be with PCT doing this. But yeah, so we'll go through how I go through kind of the morning and the setup and getting ready for the day. Let me get my screen up. Probably very different than Avi. Avi is he's got his simple levels and he's good to go. He keeps life simple, and I can appreciate that.
Strip down.
But since we have started market analysis this week, I think it's important to just take a look at kind of, not only what we'll be going through in market analysis, but how to view what's going on a bigger picture before we get into the day. So I'm just going to blow up one of these screens really quick. And so I always start with SPY, and I just take a look and say, all right, where's SPY sitting? So you'll notice everything's from the top down, so weekly, daily, 60, and down. And what I want to see is how have we been performing, right? And so what the market's been telling us, and let me bring up my pen really quick. It's not loaded yet, but what the market's been telling us is that we were in an uptrend, we hit some distribution, we started the formation of a bear market, and then it got bought right back up. So because of that, we've come all the way back into distribution, and that's where the market's sitting right now. Now, we've made a pretty good run. And what I will say is that on a daily, if I was to pull up TradingView, I would be able to show this, but I'm just gonna not do that because it's going to take me a minute. But there is a lot of value up here in the market. So there was a lot of value here and there's a lot of value up here. There was a value pocket here, which we were able to run through really quickly. And now the market's up in what was distribution before. So there's a chance that we get some days that are just kind of trickier to get things going in because of where we're located. Not to say that things won't get going, but location on the chart, if you look left on it, we're starting to get back into all this distribution. So anybody who was selling from up here is starting to freak out. Right. So they're starting to freak out. They thought this was going to turn into something bigger, and we're in this location. So right now the bulls are still in control, but we're entering an area where we might see some pressure from bears. And so what I typically want to look for is, as long as I'm going to continue to stay in anything that's bullish, I want to make sure that there's no supply that's starting to kick in on the bigger timeframes, like the 60-minute chart. So when I look at this chart, I can see that we've got a lot of demand that came in here. Some demand, a nice little kind of push. So we're still trending on the market. So it's, to me right now, it's going to be easier to take long positions because we don't have a lot of pressure yet from the bears. And so when I look for positions, I want to look for, if I'm going to go long, I want to look on the individual ticker itself to say, all right, where are the buyers in this scenario for me to get into a position? And until we start to see some heavy pressure from the top, then I'll just kind of keep looking for little bounce plays or little breakout plays until someone shows their hand. So this is the only information we have right now, but I do know that I'm entering an area on the market where we might see sellers that have that kicked in earlier in the year, that thought we were going to kind of like keel over, right? So with that information in mind, I do have a scanner that I run in the morning, and one of the things that's on them is AMD. AMD this morning is very interesting on a bigger picture level. So if you take a look at AMD, it's been in this kind of like down channel for a very long time. Even when the rest of the semis have been bouncing, AMD has just been like crapping the bed, right? So it's just, it could not turn around. If I go to a daily chart, when we think in terms of like chart structure and changes in structure on a chart, AMD has got this high, this lower high, these little lower highs on the way down, lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower high, lower low. And all of a sudden, it's trying to sit on top of a lower high for the first time in a really long time, right? All of these just kind of kept downtrending, downtrending, downtrending. And now AMD is trying to change its trend. It's trying to turn around. And so with semi news coming out of like the government and everything, and the bullishness of the market, I do think AMD is very interesting in this location. So when I pull it up and I zoom in on this level to look for, this is what we call, and we'll get to it in market analysis, but this is what we call the change of character level, or the CHACH. And this location, you can see that as we broke through it a couple days ago, there was actually pretty good volume. So somebody was willing to like bust through this on volume, and we've kind of trickled down back to check it. And now we're sitting above it this morning. So 115.89, 116 area, I find to be a very interesting location for AMD. I'm interested in either direction on it. Ideally, we change character on this on the daily and it starts to move higher. But if we fail, then they've kind of failed their job. And so if they fail, then the bears are just still in control of this giant weekly channel downtrend. But we do have volume kicking in. So there is some volume kicking in. There's a bit of selling a couple days ago. So it's going to be like a bit of a battle. But I find this level to be very interesting. So I'll have my eye on 115.89 area. And that's kind of what I'm watching this morning. Another thing that popped up on my list was Coin, but I haven't had a chance to check it out. So let's take a look at that really quick. So Coin is definitely interesting. On a weekly chart, it came down into this area of demand. So when we get these kind of bases that form and then volume and price action begins to move away from it, we can look at these as areas and locations of previous demand, or a lot of buying was here before, right? We could see it on the volume too. Coin has come into this area, it dipped below it, it got absorbed, it came back in, and now this week we're buying up on top of it, and there's a lot of volume coming into this. So Coin is definitely an interesting one, I think, for current bulls kind of showing their hands here. And so this would be a place that I would look for, more bullish setups on, at least for now. So AMD and Coin, I'm both kind of like where they're located here before the market opens. I'm looking for to see if any buyers come into this. So those would be the two that I think would be interesting this morning. I do have a bigger picture one that I'm looking at, and this could end up being a decent day trade. Like QBTS, the quantum stocks have been really hot, and this one has had a lot of volume and a lot of demand coming off of it, and it's starting to form this really, so this is the weekly chart, but it's starting to form this really nice range on the 60, and if it's basically a range inside of a range. So we've got accumulation inside of accumulation, and as it's pressing and forming a range, it's starting to get tighter and tighter. I'm actually looking for a break on this for a swing trade, but if it does break, it might actually also offer up a good day trade as well. So just something to kind of keep in mind. But I think both Avi and I are like bigger time frame type traders. Like we're looking at 30, 60, daily, weekly type charts. Unless you've totally changed, Avi, and then I'm just totally wrong.
No, you're pretty much right. I did spend the last 4 hours running a bit of a daycare in my home, taking care of 7 toddlers. So my ears are still ringing while I'm still listening to you. I can hear them screaming out the door. So it's pretty
living that dad life.
Yeah, it's so funny. You got to be a toddler, and then suddenly got to switch to be a day trader. This is messing me up, man. Getting like
well, all the more reason to use higher time frames, because I'm sure that like being that like overstimulated can cause you to just like start pressing buttons if you don't have like a slower strategy.
Yes. Too much coffee and cake. So now I'm just kind of. But here we go. 30-minute chart. Very simply, if it breaks pre-market high, I want to go long on the SPY. The setup looks good. Just careful of 10 a.m. There's some news coming out. So don't want to be in a position around then. But I like the consolidation. Basically, it's not opening there. It doesn't look like it will. If it gets there on a 30-minute, then I will look at the 1 minute. If it consolidates before the breakout, that's ideal. But just zooming out a bit, I like the way it looks on a 30-minute. It's very healthy price action. You have the gap up earlier this week, consolidation, then you had the breakout on the 13th. And then the retest, which happened in the pre-market yesterday of that previous breakout. Very interesting. Then it even broke, yesterday it broke the high of, 2 days ago approximately? Again, the top of that consolidation, and retested at middle of yesterday or towards the end of yesterday. And bounced pretty close to that previous high just overnight, last couple hours. So basically, goes up, consolidates, ABCD patterns just repeating on the way up. So in my eyes, it's very simple. It's very healthy price action. As long as it keeps going up, I'm going up. But off
Avi,
of the
are you
level,
sharing your chart?
yes, I'm sharing, and you got to pin or unpin. So you can unpin yours,
okay.
and then you can pin mine.
Yeah.
So
let's see.
Yeah. So today,
where is your
I'm
chart?
going up. That's it. You guys want to see the charts. What you got to do is click on that little icon near the bottom right, where it shows 2 people, that little icon of 2 people together. And then you'll get a whole list of people in the room, and you'll see people who are presenting. You'll see Megan and myself. You can click on either one, whichever you want, and you'll get them on your screen, and you can pin whatever you like. So whatever you pin is the larger part of your screen. That should do it.
Well, I pinned your face, so that's great.
When I do that, it just pins your camera, so it's just your face. We don't see your charts.
Well, quit pinning my face. You guys keep doing that last couple of days. Fuck.
Come on, man.
So what you'll
like
see
your
is you'll see 2 of Avi's name. You'll see one of him like where he would be speaking, and then you should see his name below it as well that says presentation. Pin the presentation.
There you go.
There it is. Thank you, Megan.
You got it.
Awesome.
Avi, what do you think of NVIDIA? I think it has the same form of SPY, and the way that I see that.
Yeah,
Breaking
pretty
up
healthy. Yep, I see what you see. Break of that 8 a.m. candles high, and then you got open space overhead. So off you go. I don't see any shorts anywhere. Similar idea to Megan. There's not much selling anywhere. So on the SPY, even on Tesla, what about? I've got Google here. Nothing. It's all up. It's all long. Tesla would be a good long for you guys who like to trade Tesla. I think it looks very interesting today. It gapped up. You have the consolidation at the 8 a.m. area. If it breaks out, it goes pretty explosively, and then you got that high of a couple of days ago to watch out for, which is approximately where my levels are anyway. That's a very neat setup, simple setup on a 30-minute. So yeah, things are looking bullish.
Abby, I'm trying to have a routine of not put aside some of the tickers not to trade, and the two that I'm looking, one is the Apple and one is the Amazon. So Apple to me is getting very choppy and dirty based on the 30 minutes of the past several days.
Oh yeah.
And the other one is the Amazon. So what do you think? I'm saying I don't want to trade these personally.
Yeah, on a 30-minute chart, yeah, Apple is just in a great big area of chop on a 30 minutes. So yeah, if that's your setup, there's nothing there. Amazon, let's have a look. Got new levels on there. Amazon is a little better than Apple. Let's see. Had the push up. It's been coming down. It found support yesterday near the bottom of yesterday's low. It's interesting, Amazon. I think breakout to the upside is interesting. The way it's going, you can see it's breaking out right now. That seems okay. Just to go from about 207 to about 208, that $1 range that I've got. Again, I don't like it for the reason that my levels are just too close to each other on Amazon. You don't get a lot of risk to reward on this. But Amazon's better than Apple, to put it simply.
Okay.
Yeah. All right, guys, we got a minute and a half to the open. So, get your shit together. And just remember, the market is a gold mine. Just wait for it. Wait for your setup. If you don't get it now, you'll get it in a couple hours. No big deal. Or come back Monday, you'll get it again. So
Exactly.
whatever.
There's tons of time. There's tons of days. No need to rush. Making money is a slow game, but you don't want to make it stressful. So keep an eye on semis today with the UAE news, with the purchasing of AI chips. I think that we might get a little bit of volatility and volume into the semis. And AMD is obviously one that I've got my eye on. It might just take off. It might never come test this level. So there might not be a setup, but I will keep an eye on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'm going to intentionally sit out for the first 3 or 4 minutes, watching until it stabilizes. And then if it wants to consolidate and break out of this 592.53 area, I can take some out of the money contracts today. Otherwise, just wait until after 10. So that's kind of what I'm waiting for. Nothing else will make sense to me.
Avi, do you always trade 0DTE as well?
Yeah, nowadays, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 0DT is just kind of sexy, It just wants to pop and go.
You're such a little degenerate. I love it. Watching this man grow and change in his trading has been so fun.
Gotta have fun with it. Gotta always have fun.
That's right. Yeah, so I usually don't trade like the very first minute either. I like to kind of see what happens around the open. I'm in no rush. You want to have clarity, you guys. So make sure that you've got clarity in your trade. If you don't feel clarity and you feel like all that jitteriness, it means you're not prepared yet. It means that you don't have like the confidence in what you're about to put on. So just relax. Just wait until something seems right to you.
Yep. Here we go. We are open. So what I'm watching for right at the open, guys, is I'm watching the red line on the 1 minute chart specifically, and on DOS, whenever the red line jumps and then the candlestick has to catch up, that's telling me it's still too volatile and jumpy. Usually takes a few minutes to stabilize. So anyways, I usually don't touch it for those first few minutes. There's a good reason to stay out of it. There we go. Tesla's close to that top over there. Was it 348-ish? Pushed up very aggressively. Keep an eye on that.
Tesla's still sitting at the top of like yesterday's high. So we want to look to make sure that it can break that. Which would be around like the 350 area. 350 might be a little bit of a struggle on Tesla. We'll see how it does. It was really heavy in the options on the options chain, options OI. So it might have a bit of liquidity that it has to chew through, a little bit of a call wall for those of you that do trade options. And we have an options class next week. So hopefully you guys will.
Google just did that 1 minute ORB, guys. If you're interested in such things, you volatility players. Google as well. Yeah, Tesla didn't go anywhere yet. Yeah, resistance.
Yeah, it's got some resistance. Apple too has quite a bit of resistance. It's coming up against supply as well. So I think Apple's interesting. It's been kind of a laggard in the market. It's not really hasn't really like followed the rest of the strength in the tech sectors. Avi, make sure you take a deep breath. You got all riled up by your children. I don't need you out here like losing hundreds of thousands of dollars with me. Like,
I'll
please
blame it
God.
on you.
I know, right?
Yeah. I got plenty
Yeah,
of good excuses today to lose money. There's Megan being a big distraction. I got a floral shirt. I got kids running around over here. All kinds of shit.
yeah. Agnes,
yeah.
you're mentioning QUBT. One of my mentees mentioned this one this morning too. I love the weekly chart on this. I think QUBT is a great setup. I'm sorry I did not call that out earlier. I only talked about QBTS, but it's a solid setup on the weekly. So I would look for any type of continuation plays or anywhere where you see like support to take little bounces or whatever your setup might be. But it's got this, it's breaking a nice pre-market range. It's breaking a daily change of character level. It's kind of floating up into no man's land right now, which makes it awesome. So QUBT is doing well today.
Yeah, all this stuff, all these tickers with these big catalysts and stuff like this. To me, it's so exotic and scary. I don't know how you guys trade this. It's amazing. Like, to me, it's just like the SPY, a little options, a little volatility there. I'm quite satisfied, man. You guys are brave.
See, it's so funny. Like I'm so opposite because the SPY to me is moved. It moves because of like 500 different stocks. So to me, like if I'm going to trade the SPY, I have to be alert for like 500 different things that could move the market. But if I'm just trading QBTS or AMD or NVIDIA, like I just have to focus on that one and then just the market as a whole. Right. So that that to me seems more simple. So, to each their own.
Yeah, perspective.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
But the SPY is very liquid. So if you're trading options, it's a great one to be trading options in.
Yes, that's the only reason I've gone this direction. I've dumped everything else, and I couldn't even get filled on something like Tesla anymore. It just got difficult. So find a way to trade the SPY.
It's a rough life when you've got such a big account.
Yeah, different challenges, different kind
Yes.
of complications.
That's right. That's right.
There you go, guys. Tesla now tricky. I mean, it's pushing up, making new highs, but very complicated price action on the 1 minute. I'll put it up here for you guys.
Yeah, I've got it up as well.
Yeah, see, that was tricky. You had a bit of a fallen angel kind of setup. Now it's on its way, but to catch that, you probably stop out once or twice and then you catch it. 5 minute ORB setup. Google was neat as a 1 minute ORB. So the way I see Google, it did one leg up, now a little consolidation. Ideally, that's just a little ABCD pattern setting up for the second leg. And let's see if that comes true or not. That would be healthy. What else is good? AMD going the other way. Yeah, that's messy.
I'm perfectly fine with that. I would like it to come down to a level so it can drop.
Yeah.
Let them take their
Nice.
profit. So definitely still keep an eye on the 350 on Tesla. I know it's breaking it, but we need to let it actually break and hold above it. Like obviously, and like, it looks like it's going, but it could get messy. So just give it a second and make sure if you're paying attention to candlestick formations and price action that you get the signal that you're looking for, whatever types of patterns you like to look for.
Yeah.
I'd like to see buyers start stepping up. So right now we've got volume breaking through it, which is a good thing. On the level 2, I don't see any big participants yet.
Cheryl, you're saying you got short on Russell. What is the ticker for that? Russell 200? Russell 2000? I have no idea what that is.
IWM.
IWM, that's what it is. Thank you. Let's see if that, what is that? What happened with that today? Oh, there it is. Oh yeah, short. There you go. Nice little scalp. Now, Google's interesting to my eyes again because it consolidated in the pre-market. It did a breakout on the 1 minute perspective of the level, and now it's retesting that breakout. Let's see if it completes the retest, then you have a good move to the upside. Otherwise, it's just a false breakout. So to me, this is an interesting area. If I'm trading Google, I'd really pay attention right about now and be interested for the long. It truly has to bounce off of this area about 167.75. In the meanwhile, the SPY is doing precisely what is healthy, keeping me out of the market, not going near any of my levels, which means I can get involved later on. Fantastic.
Got SMCI long.
Ooh, more exotic stuff. What have you got here? Oh, look at that. Oops. Keep hitting buttons. SMCI, look at that. Good price action on the 1 minute. Let's
Tesla
see.
does have some sellers above 350, you guys, so just be cautious here. You can see that they're dipping back below it. This is what I was concerned with, especially with the options market and the way that no buyers were stepping up as we broke it. They're trying to trick everybody out. So if it's going to continue off of this, you're going to need a little bit more time for a setup. But right now there's too much selling.
Yeah, pullback. Healthy pullback. But yeah, look at SMCI. Holy crap. Good catch. All this is momentum trading. If you're an SMCI, you probably caught a 5 minute ORB or something like that. And you're on the way up and you're taking partials, you're scalping. It's not one of those big setups I see on a 30 minute where you just put it on and leave it for hours. Partialing on the way up, then recycling those shares. Wow, look at this thing go. Who caught that? Someone said you caught that. Where'd you catch it? Let's have some insight. How'd you catch it? If you'd like to share. Very cool. Very cool. Oh yeah, and here's Tesla as well. It's interesting. What is cool, I like to see on the first minute on Tesla, you had that resistance, then had the breakout and came back and bounced off of approximately where it had that resistance around 348.60, right in that zone. So far, that to me is healthy, and that's setting up for a second leg up. But wait for it. Again, these are big candles. Very hard to manage risk on big candles. So I prefer to enter when candles are small, which typically is later in the day. So
Yeah, that does tighten your risk to reward a bit.
yeah, it's the only way I know how to do it. So it's good to sit out. Let's see. Look at this thing. Oh, we got a few guys in here catching SMCI. Look at that. Satch, Jackie, you guys. Love it.
Nice, guys. They had news recently. I forget what it was, but something. Was it earnings? SMCI. It was, they entered a partnership with somebody for AI, hyperscale AI campuses, Saudi Arabia. Okay.
There you go. Now that is catalyst. It's not fundamentals. That's just excitement coming in. So good for day trading. Long-term investing, I haven't got a clue about that. Just sounds like a bug. It'll pop. It's a bubble that'll pop. Don't hold that thing for 5 years. No way.
All right, so Tesla's still showing weakness. Again, we couldn't get, there was no, even though it looked price action wise on the chart like it was going to break out, this is where order flow is really important. And I know we had our first order flow class yesterday, but as we got up to this level, there were no buyers stepping up. And this becomes a trap. And this is where if you start to pair the price action or the candlestick formations with what you're seeing on the tape, it can be really valuable because candlesticks are a lagging indicator. So we could see even as we got up there that there were a lot of there was a lot of supply and not enough buyers to really get excited about staying on top of it. And so we start to get a little bit of selling pressure. And if they can't get over them, the sellers are just going to keep pushing. So we're we're getting this little resistance and this pullback now on Tesla. And if you look at the 60-minute chart, it is at yesterday's high, right? So if they want to, they could attempt to run the range. That's typically the goal. If you get a rejection at the top side of a range, usually you try to run to the bottom side. That's just technical analysis for ranges. So 336 area would be something for Tesla to keep an eye on, but the middle is usually the biggest battleground. So I would be looking at PDC if this wants to keep dropping. I am not in this. This wasn't something that I was going to trade today, so I wasn't actually planning to take a trade on it. But just kind of talking you through what I'm seeing and what the targets might be on this. So I would keep an eye on PDC if it can break the pre-market range. So the low of the pre-market range is going to be like 344.80-ish. It needs to get below that 8 a.m. candle. And if it does, then PDC is what I'd be looking for. Right now, you got to think in psychology, like anybody that bought in Tesla this morning that was thinking for like running for a break on this thing is like crapping their pants a little bit. Right? Like the fact that this has moved all the way back, it's really putting pressure on them. And if they step back in and they buy, we're just going to be range bound for a little while, because now we're going to have the pressure from the sellers at the top side and the buyers at the bottom side. And this is the first signal when you get 100% retracement of a move like this. This is your first signal that price action starts to become range bound. So if we do see buyers step back in, expect range bound price action on Tesla from 345 to the 350 area. If they break the morning buyers, then I would look for PDC.
Megan, I wish I was as energetic as you at 5 a.m. Holy crap.
Okay, well, I wish I was as energetic as you at like 10 or 11 or midnight. Like, grandma goes to bed at like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Juan, the order flow class is recorded from yesterday. So we got into mostly just the basics, but it's a good like leeway to get into it. So.
Got a good little comment here from someone named Passive Income. It's only been 7 days since you joined, and the biggest lesson you learned is that you don't have to take any trades. Fantastic point there, guys. And not taking a trade is itself, avoiding a drawdown. So
yeah,
good work on that. Learning patience, waiting for your setup. Again, money lost. Well, yeah, money not lost counts in your P&L, right? Imagine those negative rows are not there in the P&L. It counts.
Yeah.
So there you go. Very good point. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah, neither of us have put a position on, so
Yeah.
Yeah. The thing too is it's like there are so many levels, so many stocks. Like you could trade something, like you could trade whatever you want, right? Like I could flip over to Nvidia and I could start hitting away at it, or Google, I could start hitting away at it. But the key really is to remember that like right now you guys are obviously using Sim, but when you start to trade live, you have to remember, like, this is your hard-earned money. Like, there is a disconnect because you're not touching it. It's like you don't really see it. Like, it can feel like a video game. So if you can train yourself now in Sim to be really picky and really patient and trade only the things that you want to trade or only the things that you planned to trade, it will be easier when you go live to do the same thing. And remember that it's your hard-earned money, and remember that, like, if I was at the store, would I actually want to buy this? Like it's something that you're buying, something you're selling. Like, do I actually want this thing? You're window shopping right now. Avi and I are just window shopping.
I love window shopping all day long. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great point. Yeah. Wait for it. And here's where Google looks like it's completing that retest we're talking about 5 minutes ago. I may have entered something like this when I used to trade this sort of thing. And SMCI just made a new high of day, which is encouraging for a continued. So there's a point of interest here. But careful with SMCI. It's already run a lot. Gotta love these levels. Huh? Bounced nearly exactly off the level. You believe it, guys? I've only taken one trade this whole week so far. And that one trade took 3 attempts to get into. Well, 3 stop outs in the 4th attempt. The whole week so far, I haven't seen a single setup. It's the slowest week of my life. But that's all right. That's how you make money and then keep your money. You don't go losing it by overtrading.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Joe, QBTS is definitely starting to set up. And again, I'm looking for it for a swing, but for intraday, it might actually offer some goodies. Sorry, someone was about to say something and I started talking, so pop in.
Who else got something? We had a few guys catch SMCI. That was a little earlier. Anyone else catch something worth talking about? Something interesting? Something you'd like to share?
I got AMD and Google.
All right.
But
And yeah,
still in Google, near my stop loss, but AMD short was good.
nice. Yeah, AMD did go down quite well. I think it was tricky. It's got wicks on both sides on every candle, it feels. But yeah, good job surviving that. That's tough price action. It went down.
Mm-hmm.
Got an
Nice.
Amazon short.
Amazon. Didn't look at Amazon, did we? Oh, there you go. Did we put the levels on? Oh, yeah. Look at that. That's interesting. Amazon made that low of day around 205, then did a breakout about 5 minutes ago, retest, and just made a new low just now, which is encouraging for a continued move.
Avi levels.
Nice. Yeah, there you go. And the price action is pretty neat, respecting the levels. Resistance turned, support turned resistance. That's precisely what you want. I think it looks encouraging to continue down. Nice. Yeah, those levels are in the right place. Cool. You're just going into a bit of chop from yesterday, so you want to be careful if you're still in this. Around 204, I'd start de-risking it before getting to the target, 203.26. Cool. Good catch. Oh, yeah, this is something I get quite a lot, guys. If you look at the SMCI chart on the 1 minute, a lot of people ask me, is this a double top? It's made two tops. This is where you go short. Not in my eyes. It's at a level that makes sense, but the second top is higher than the first. Don't short this thing. Just don't. So many guys ask me this every day. So no, this thing to me is either going to get choppy here or maybe long. There's nothing to tell me you should put risk on going short. There's no way. So be careful with this thing.
I'm going to argue that slightly. I apologize. But right now, SMCI is up in a weekly supply zone, and it struggled with it before, and it's come into this multiple times. So there are sellers that have shown their hands here recently. But I do agree that you need to make sure you have the right signal to fight who's ever in control right now. So the bulls have been pushing this up. Make sure that you get some type of reversal signal. So we want to see the volume start to lean towards the sellers. We want to start to see some type of maybe pattern formation. We can watch the order flow to give us a signal. So I'm with Avi that you don't want to fight who's in control right now, but this is a location to watch for sellers to come in based on the weekly chart. So just something to keep in mind. But for now, you know, the bulls they've been moving it. So
Nice. Always love a good debate. Let's get into something.
you should see me with Gary in the chat room during the day. I'm like, why are you long this thing? What do we do? Why are we up here going long?
Fun times.
It's the only way to learn, like not herd mentality, but like be like, okay, well, this is what I'm seeing. Like, why are you seeing this? You know?
Yeah. That's great. It is a great way to learn, and there's no need to change your opinion, but definitely sharing opinions and being stress testing your opinions by others. That's a very important thing.
Yeah, I love that stress testing. Like it's what you would do in like, you know, other environments as well, is like put it through something that tells you whether or not like this you're seeing all the points, right? It's not going to like explode on you.
Yep.
Pedro, can I help you read the level 2 for CRWV? Yeah, I can take a look at it for a second. Let's see, CRWV. This is doing well today. Okay, so level 2 wise right now, we've got one more order to the top side that it's showing at 77. Anything past that, nothing right now that's past that. So I would just keep an eye on 77 to see if they get through it, and if they do get through it, do we buy on top of it? And is anybody excited? Do we see more orders getting stacked to the top side? There is one order lower at 73.70, which could cause a little bit of balance, meaning that as we're between 77 and like 73 area, we might start to form some type of a range because we've got a large order up here and a large order down here in this area. So just kind of something to keep in mind that, you know, as this has made this run, you might be in a momentary bit of like a little bit of a pause, but keep an eye on 77 because if they clear that and they put more orders out, then it might be able to keep going. But after this move, I would definitely keep an eye on a bit of range bound formation right now. You guys just want me to read the level 2 out here for everything? Okay, let's do it. QUBT. This is what happens when I teach one order flow class and I haven't given you guys the full skills yet. All right, this is a lower price stock. So as I mentioned yesterday, when you have a lower price stock, you need to switch your level 2 so that it's a little bit little higher on filtering. So I'm going to switch it to about 15,000 orders. And in that case, we do have a pretty stacked to the top side. If they can consolidate here, we've got orders at 1050 that they might scoop. What I would look for on this, there is a big order down here at 1050. So if they want to, they could push towards that. But there are still buyers here. And so on I would keep an eye on the 5 because there's a stacked to order flow to the top side. So if they can form a bit of a range and they can break this range, I would look for a play there. There's no plays set up right now. We want to make sure that a new pattern can kind of set up and then we can follow the order flow. So order flow there's a lot of stacked orders at the top side. You can see them over here. So if they want to continue moving up, they can just wait for a pattern to break or get in with buyers. So maybe there's like this 1 minute buyer right here if you wanted to, but it's still, the order book is still bullish if they want to keep moving it. Just have to wait for whoever's selling from this rejection up here. Just need to wait for them to kind of die out. And this is where reading 1 minute volume becomes really handy because you can kind of see how the 1 minute volume is just slowly starting to die from the sell candles. Once those guys are out of the way, it'll be easier for this to kind of get moving again if they want to push it up towards those orders. So. You got it. No, I by the way, like I'm happy to answer those questions. I just like, you know, I'm giddy in the morning and I like to make jokes and like, please always ask me questions. I'm more than happy to look at this stuff. This is what I enjoy. This is what I teach. So please never feel shy to ask questions. I'm happy to look at stuff. That's what this is for.
You know, it's been so long since I looked at the tape and the level 2, I can hardly remember what it looks like. It's really interesting. I'm like, what? This is great. It's a good reminder.
Yeah, it can be exhausting though, which is like part of the reason why I've gotten more into swing trading because I'm like, watching this all day is like, I'm getting old, you know, like I can't, I'm exhausted by the end of the day.
Oh, man. No, you're not old. You're more energetic than most people I know. So no, not old at all. Not there yet.
All right, QBTS starting to get more interesting. It's been kind of waving up towards this breakout level. So you can see on the 1 minute that we had buyers in the morning. We came back, kind of tested them. New buyers stepped up, and now we're coming up to this level. This level still needs to break to actually put something on. But it looks decent if they can get over it. I'll show you the level on the daily chart. The level on the daily chart, as you can see, it's this swing high here. So they need to clear that. We'll see if today is the day. I've been watching it every single day. I also have a swing trade right now in Carmen. Very random, I know. Just aerospace defense. And I got in right at this bounce, 38.50. This wick kicked in and it just kicked it on up. So got a little swing on that guy going.
Real quick, for you guys who like previous day's highs and lows on the SPY, the green line I've got here is yesterday's high, and it dropped below and it's pushing up above it now. And that's a good sign of strength. If you want to get long on the SPY, this is a good area. If he's trading that strategy, I'm trading off of different levels, but using previous day's highs, very interesting. It's an area you would be interested for a a good solid daily candle going upwards today. This could be the beginning of the day. But we do have news in about 4 minutes, 3 minutes. So that should impact the SPY. So keep an eye on that. That's when all the patterns are broken. And then you have to reassess. All right. Yes, there you go, Mark. You're welcome. Patience is where you don't lose money. And then when the moment comes, you got to be aggressive, and that's where you make money.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, that's how it matters. That's how it works. Coin, Agnes, you looking at coin? Megan, sorry, did you look at coin just now? I didn't see.
No, I didn't. Go ahead. You can look at it.
Okay. Coin. Well, Agnes, if you want my perspective, I'll say, look, the candle's white, means it's going up. That's pretty much all I can tell you. But yeah, there you go. 30-minute perspective is where I usually start everything. What is this thing? Sorry. There we go. Yeah, broke out of the 8 a.m. level. 251.60 on a 30-minute perspective on a 1 minute. Yeah, there you go. Got a hammer, and that was choppy, kind of tricky to get into. But it definitely cleaned itself up. You know, if you're looking at ORBs, you would consider that high of the first minute about 254, and then break from there. You get a good little ORB setup. So to catch these kinds of ORBs, you want to sit out for at least 5 minutes, mark the high and low of those first 5 minutes, really, and see if that gets respected. And doesn't mean you get a long or a short in the 6th minute. It means at some point, if that breaks, it's a decent setup. A lot of fallen angels, 1 minute ABCDs, all that stuff happens within that time frame. And you can get good moves. So coin did set up that way. The entry would have been around about 944, 943, a little early. And this thing wants to go. There you go. Was Bitcoin going up? You guys all Bitcoin investors? Should have got levels in the wrong places. Oh, okay, I see what's happening. I got too many lines on my chart. DOS is giving me issues.
Oh no, not line hell.
Yeah, too many
It's
lines.
the worst. It reminds me of like a heist movie in a bank, you know, and there's like just those lasers everywhere. Whenever I see a bunch of lines on a chart, I'm just like, no.
Nice. Funny person. Yeah, so what that tells me is no more exotic tickers, guys. We're done. Yeah, just stick to the 1 or 2 important ones. And
No more exotic tickers. Let's see. What is, so you went over coin. Yeah, I mean coin it's been crazy.
AMD, guys, watch that short off this level right now. Here it goes. I think this setup's all right. A little late for the entry now, but a minute ago. Yeah. And here comes the news, guys. About 5 seconds. The SPY, I expect it to be impacted, so I'm watching it. Let's see what happens. Right after that is when I'll be interested. Whoa, look at that thing jump. See that? Whoa.
Consumer
That's where you-
sentiments.
Yeah, you don't want to be in a position when this happens. Long or short, either way.
Let's see.
Where are these call options?
No numbers. No numbers yet. The sentiment was a bit lower last time, so let's see if they do any better this time. Coming in at 50 versus 55. So yeah, it is a little bit lower.
All right. Yeah, Juan, you got a question here?
Thank you, Avi. Good morning, Megan, Avi. I wonder what signs do you look to know when a stock is extended? For example, I took today HIMS after the previous day close, and I got out at 61, but the stock continued. How to know that it could be could take more advance of this movement?
Well, I can give you my opinion. The easy way I think that most people use is using moving averages and ATR, either of those two. If it's the ATR, that's about it. You're done. Or if it's extended, or if it's got a distance from the 9 EMA, for example, then it's too far to get involved. At that point, you want to take partials and not add. So those are two simple ones. I mean, common ones. The way I trade, I use a 30-minute chart, and that tells me where to get in when where not to. And generally, when the 30-minute chart is, it's just big white candles, basically, it's already on its way, it's gone. At that point, I'm not going to touch it. That just tells me don't touch it, which ends up pretty much being the same place where most people say it's extended. So, but that's my method is 30-minute time frames. Again, 30-minute candlesticks. That's the key for me. I get pretty much everything I need from watching 30-minute candlesticks. But yeah, that's just how I do it. Megan, what do you think? Different indicators?
I think moving averages are pretty common, right? I think that like when price becomes extended from things like the 9, oftentimes price does snap back to that location. So I do think like using a moving average can be very helpful. The other thing that I pay attention to, so you're bringing up HIMS. The thing that I look for is how extended am I from a 5-minute buyer? So when I bring up this chart here, for instance, so let me just see where we're at on HIMS. All right, so there were buyers here before. Okay, so on the intraday, as I'm watching this, I will look to see like where buyers have stepped up, and I can see that by where we've kind of pushed off from. So we've got this location down here where buyers stepped up. We've got an area right here where buyers have stepped up, and so if I'm super far from this area, it might be tricky for me to get into a position because price could come down and retest the morning buyers down here. So typically for me, when I'm looking for something that's might be extended, I want to be as close to a buyer as possible. And so this is more chart structure based. And so if I was going to get into this right now, I would be looking for kind of this area. But what you're saying is actually you were in it, you got out because you thought it was extended. Is that right? And then it just kind of continued?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So that comes more down to like order flow and targets on the stock itself. So like if I look for and you could do a bar by bar analysis on this too. So this is kind of one thing that can help you stay in something. So even if stuff starts to get extended, what you're actually looking for is sellers to take over. So if I do bar by bar analysis, just like a quick overview here, there's a lot of buying here at the open on the candles where the buyers won the candle or the candle closed green. The volume was elevated. Then any of the candles that were red and were, maybe pulling back, the volume is actually declining on those selling candles. Then the buying candles, as they start to move, the volume picks back up. Notice how high this is. Selling comes in, it's still lower than all of these candles where the buyers won the candle. Same thing, volume kicks in again, high volume on these buying candles, low volume on the seller. So there's not a lot of volume when it starts to sell or the sellers take control of a candle. Same thing, buyers come in again. Here's where you finally start to see sellers start to take over. This is where I would partial or exit a position. Until then, I have buyers taking over the entire move. So even though we're starting to get like extended from VWAP and we might be extended from a 9 or something, bar by bar analysis actually tells me that the buyers are still willing to push this and there's not enough selling pressure to roll it over yet.
Wonderful. Thank you, Megan.
You got it. And we'll do more of that like in market analysis and stuff, but just that's something that can keep you in a trade. I always say like have sellers actually come into this thing yet. Order flow will help you with that too. But just simple bar by bar analysis, I don't see a shift in volume until right before 10 o'clock. And then it really kicks in. And so now I would say, all right, we've got sellers up here and we've got the morning buyers down here. And now we want to look for, different setups kind of within this area. So that's it. Cool. QBTS is breaking out, and I'm just kind of sitting here trying to make a decision. I think I'm going to get into it. If it comes back and fails this level, this is a swing trade, by the way, guys. So if it comes back and fails this $12 level, I'll probably get out and let it reset. But for now, like going back to the idea of bar by bar analysis, there's definitely good buying coming into this. So I think I'm going to put a little bit of a swing position on here, and we will see how it goes.
Megan, do you mean a swing position for days or just for?
Yeah, for days. Yeah, not an intraday swing position, an actual swing for days. I've been watching this, so it's got like it's got this range that's been setting up and all these buyers coming in off of the bottom. And so we're getting close to the IPO high at 1323, and we're just pushing up and pushing up. They had a 500% year over year growth. And so fundamentally it makes sense. And then we've also got this tight 60-minute range that's starting to break as well. And the volume is supporting it today. The level 2 is supporting it. So I'm in this, honestly, it might be more of a long-term swing. I want to see it break the IPO high for sure to stay in it for longer. But for now, I'm in it for now. We'll see how it goes.
Thanks.
Yep.
Ara and Brandy, what are you all talking about in here? Violence? You want to get violent? Okay, I'll do that. It's Friday. Shit, I'll do anything on Friday.
Don't tease Avi with a good time.
Dennis, you're asking about VPA, volume price analysis. If you look on my charts, you can use imaginary volume bars, because I don't use volume. To put it in very simple terms, if there's a massive amount of volume on a candlestick, you take that candlestick seriously. And if there's lower volume, those are the ones you don't give so much weight. That's how I've used volume when I used it for, I don't know, 5 years until recently I removed it. So that's VPA to me. That's about as much as I can tell you. Of course, there's a lot more to it. Thor actually is all into it. Megan can tell you a lot more about it. But that's the 80-20 of it, in my view.
Yeah. Avi keeps it simple. He's just playing levels and candlestick structure. And there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, my trading got bigger and better with this, so why not? It suits me.
Yeah, if
You
it
gotta
works
find a
for
way
you.
that works. Yeah,
Exactly.
gotta do that. Mark, what are you talking about? Large orders 135. Where 135? What, on SPY all the way down? You're short? What? 135 QBTS? One of them. ARM. Okay, ARM. Oh, more exotic stuff. My DOS is gonna crash if I put more exotic stuff on. You saw that error message. So no more. Not for a while.
Brandy, you're asking about stop losses with swing trading. Yeah, you're right. It could flip overnight. Some people like to actually use options because then you have defined risk. The only downside to options is then you need it to move rather quickly. You've got the time component, and so it can make it tricky sometimes if we don't start moving. But yeah, it can be tricky. The thing that I say is that when you go into something, make sure that you go in with an amount of risk that you feel okay with. And it might be really small when you first start swing trading. You might be used to putting something on that's only, $100 risk or something where your stop would be. But maybe you go in with $20, right? Just in case you have those overnight moments where the stock just completely freaks out or something, if you're in, and I think the other thing is news can change it, obviously, but if you're in the right location on the stock on the bigger time frame, oftentimes you're safe unless some type of crazy news comes in, which it can happen, but it's usually more rare. But as long as you're in the right place on the chart on a bigger time frame, you're protected by bigger time frame participants. But again, making sure that you're not too heavy is really, really important.
You know what I like about levels, guys? When you have only a defined area where you are allowed to get into a position. If you just look at the SPY chart I've got up here on 30-minute, I'm only allowed to get in at one of these burgundy lines. And even then, when it gets there, I still have to analyze it and see what happens, which is fantastic because it reserves a lot of mental capital. I'm not exhausted yet because I've been watching an hour of price action on a 1-minute chart going nuts, trying to figure out, should I go long, short, whatever. It's just nothing's happened yet. No, absolutely nothing. It's only when it gets to the level that I actually switch my brain on and start paying attention. And again, mental capital, you got to take care of that. You got to preserve that, just like financial capital. It's incredibly important. You really need that, because the truth is, even once you're in a trade, you need a tremendous amount of mental capital to manage your emotions. So trading itself should come naturally to you, not naturally, but in a simple way, whatever's easy for you, whatever's easiest for you. It uses the least amount of your energy and at the technical stuff, so that you can use the majority of your energy to manage your emotions while you're putting on, risk, a lot of risk. And then you can really find ways to size up once you get that sorted out in your head. So things to think about when you're discovering your trading style. Like, think about that. It's not just financial capital, it's mental capital as well.
For
It's
sure.
very important.
And choosing levels in the morning when your logical thinking brain is still online and it's calm, and you're only waiting for those then during the day, it reduces the amount of decision making that you have to have. And our brains really only have so much decision making capabilities. So it helps you not have to make so many decisions, because once you've have decision fatigue, or you've exhausted all of your willpower for decisions, that's when you start to make mistakes, and that's when you start to take trades that you shouldn't be taking. So definitely having specific areas or specific locations and ideas of what you want to be trading that day is really, really important.
Absolutely. I gotta say, guys, my trading got bigger, better, more profitable, and less trading since I got the psychology side of things sorted out, and actually eliminated a lot of technical stuff. So, in that combination. Yeah, Nate, go ahead. You got a question?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yep. Go ahead.
Either one of you guys, Megan or Avi, thank you both. But I'm looking at NVIDIA, and it's showing on the daily chart sitting at 135 as the resistance and support with Friday. Do you think this is just going to consolidate into just a chop fest right around there without breaking levels?
135 on, sorry, what ticker?
So on NVIDIA,
okay.
And I'm on the day chart, it's sitting at 135.45 right currently. And it's just kind of seemed like it's just trending. It won't move one way or the other. So I'm wondering, is this more an indication of consolidation or a later potential break of high?
Yeah, so on my chart here, 135 is an area of interest today. It's pretty much the low of the 8 a.m. candle. But if you look at the 30-minute picture, again, you'll see it's been kind of sitting in this area, not really going anywhere too fast this week, effectively, last 3 or 4 days.
Right.
I would just wait for it to break today's 8 a.m. candle, so that 136.89 level. And I would think of that as perhaps where a good, strong trend may begin. I would not think too much of a short, because these lows are just getting higher all the time, so it's hard to even look at shorts. But the breakout looks good.
Right, and for the long.
Yeah, for the long. Yeah, I wouldn't go long anywhere inside of chop, because what you get is chop, basically. So,
Gotcha.
So on
yeah, go ahead.
On a bigger picture with NVIDIA, there is this really strong area of supply that it's sitting on top of right now. So it used a lot of energy to push through it. And so when it has to use all this energy to chew through this previous area of supply, sometimes they can get tired. And we want to make sure that buyers are willing to buy above this location where sellers kicked in before on the daily chart. And so right now, what we're actually starting to see on a bigger time frame is a little bit of exhaustion from the buyers, because they've worked so hard, and also maybe a little bit of selling pressure. 135 most likely, even without looking, it's probably somewhat heavy in the options market, which can cause a little bit of stickiness as well. So let me just pull up the options chain for a second. And again, we'll do options next week as well. But 135, actually 140 seems to be the heaviest. So if they wanted to, they actually could keep moving it. But the issue is that similar to a level, we can think of supply and demand as a level, and supply, once you're on top of it, and if you were on top of a level, you would want to see excitement from the buyers willing to buy up here. And right now they're just trying to survive hanging out up here. So it can make it really tricky, just location wise on the bigger time frame. It's a trickier place to be. What I would say, if you're trying to take a trade on this thing today, would be to allow a 5-minute or 15-minute setup to come into play. So right now they're just consolidating, and they're consolidating right above this supply zone. So if they consolidate and they get enough participants, they could then start to move away from supply, and you could maybe break the top side of this. So I would look to kind of break out of this range if you're going to take something. And if it fails this range, you're actually in a good location to short, honestly, because of the weekly supply that's here. So if these buyers fail to hold, this could actually start to move back down through supply.
Thank you, guys.
You got it. It's got a nice range to play off of. So you know, definitely just watch that range is what I would say.
Okay, because my goal, I was hoping for a breakthrough to see it push through that 135, 136 area to create a new high. That's because it's showing for what the last week it's been in a bullish trend. So I was looking for that breakthrough, but maybe it's probably a little too early, maybe next week sometime.
Yeah, so the location of the chart is really important, because when you get up to a place that had a lot of sellers before, and we'll run through supply and demand in the PCT classes as well, but when you get to an area where there were a lot of sellers before and we come up to it and there's still supply there. So yesterday, the 136 was really, really heavy on NVIDIA. There were a lot of orders there. And so you think of it in terms of like the market moves in liquidity. And if there's a lot of liquidity up here, it's going to take some time for it to kind of start to move through that. And so sometimes things can just get a little bit stuck or a little bit sticky. And so it could even like take like a day or two to break it. But I do know options wise and market wise, 140 has had a lot of liquidity. So if this range breaks, you might be able to catch like a pop to those levels and pass them, kind of like what you were talking about.
Okay.
The market has to, like, when it moves up, it has to pull back to scoop more buyers. Like, the market moves in liquidity, right? It can't just go straight up or straight down, because once it goes straight up, it runs into sellers. And if there's too much supply to get through, it has to move back down, scoop up more buyers, and then get through that supply. And so that's why you get these waves in the market, because it has to move like back and forth and ebb and flow through supply and demand. And that's what NVIDIA is trying to do right now. Like, it's up in supply and it's trying to get through it. So you just have to wait for it to kind of pull back, set up locations for you to get in at, and then look for those setups. Sometimes they're not like right off the bat breakouts because of the location of the bigger time frame.
Okay, well, the way I'm thinking, it seems like I'm kind of in the right direction. So that's a win there. I'll take that.
Yeah, totally. And then the rest is about timing, you know? So yeah, glass half full, you've got the right idea. The rest is just about timing of it.
All right. Thank you, guys.
You got it.
All right, we got a couple questions. Excuse me, all these errors. Anyways, what I'm seeing is it's in an area of a whole lot of chop on a 30-minute chart. It was a bullish day a few days ago, and then it hasn't gone anywhere since. So until it doesn't break this area, effectively about 130, I wouldn't be interested. That's 130 on the upside. On the downside, you have approximately 126.50. So I'm just looking at candlesticks and telling you that's I don't want to trade it where it's choppy. In fact, the way I see it is basically, if it's been choppy in an area, it's going to continue to be choppy in that area. And who the hell are you to assume otherwise, right? So,
yeah, who the hell are you?
So leave it alone. Unless you're scalping, then that's a whole different story. But the way I see things, it's don't touch it where it can be touched.
I completely agree. It's just the 60-minute range. You're just right in the middle of it. Like, it's going to be a tricky place to play.
Yep. Nice. We got SPY. Looks like it's ready to launch off of previous day's high. That's interesting. Ideally, that runs up, and then I can get something further up. But let's see. All this is going to take about an hour of confirmations before I can allow myself to get aggressive.
Akshay, you're bringing up Tesla jumping off PDC. This is the target, right? We talked about this. So as soon as they get sellers at this key breakout level, the next place to run is the middle of the range. And so PDC is the middle of the range. So that's their target. If I draw this as the most recent range, the buyers are in control on a bigger time frame, so they're going to want to protect the middle of this range, and the sellers are trying to sell from the top side, so they're trying to battle the middle of the range. If they get through it, then we would probably run the range, but when we start to get a rejection at one side of this range, the middle is usually the first place to look for the opposite party to step in. And so you can see now that the opposite party is trying to step back into this thing after we sold down off of the failed breakout. It's a good target for it, the middle of the range.
Guys, I'm going to restart my DOS here, so my screen share is going to stop for a minute. It's been a bit buggy so far, so let's see if I can clean this up before putting on an options trade.
Always a good idea.
Yes. I got a few settings to sort out as well. I'll do that later. For now, just restart. There we go. Cool. Yeah, Agnes, you got a question there?
Yeah, for QUBT on the 1 minute, I just have a question. You there?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so for the bullish candle that formed right after that pullback around 11, I think it's 11, it closed at 11:30, 11:29 or something. What were some of the indication that it would have been trending up? Would you say volume? Because it seems like the volume started going up.
Yeah, for sure. So back to kind of the idea of bar by bar analysis here. If I just take like a bigger, like if I just kind of zoom out on this 1 minute chart, what I see is that like at the open, buyers were strong, right? And then if I take a look at all of the bars that are happening here, the ones that stand out to me, there was a little bit of selling here, but we're starting to see how these buyers are overpowering all of these sell candles. So anytime the buyers win the candle, they're actually overpowering all these little sell candles. And then they start to kick in again here. So once we get this range formation on all of this low volume, but where buyers are in control of this low volume range, we started to kick out on this high volume here. So that was our first signal that like, while this is accumulating and staying in a range, there's buyers that are actually in control of this range right here. And so we're just waiting for those buyers to finish absorbing shares and then kick themselves out of here. And that's when we start to get that uptick in volume here to kick them out of the range and start the next move.
Okay, thank you so much.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. And if I look at like the level 2 on QUBT, it still has a lot of orders to like run towards. So 1250's got a lot of heavy orders. So there's nothing like, as long as the volume keeps coming in, they can run that order book. The market makers will keep running towards it as long as there's still volume coming into the buy side. So yeah.
Cool.
Thanks, Megan.
Yeah, you got it.
Yeah, Tim, go ahead. Got a question?
I think you kind of partially answered it with Agnes's question, because I was looking at QUBT right now, but I was looking at it on Bookmap, and I mean it's like empty to the downside, and it's very laddered up to the big order at 1250.
Yeah.
So I know it's like super late because I wasn't watching it, but where it pulled back a little bit at $12, I went long, just because the order book was emptied to the downside and just laddered all the way up to 1250.
Okay.
I don't know, is that good or bad?
Well, you tell me, what does your strategy and your plans say? Is that
I mean, my strategy
all your plan?
right now? I don't necessarily have one. I just kind of look at what's happening in the moment.
Okay.
And just evaluating on Bookmap, I mean, I think I know how to read it right. And like I said, it was empty. I mean, completely empty to the downside and just laddered up. So I thought it still has room to run, maybe up to 1250.
Yeah.
Or just before then.
Yeah, you're
So
definitely
I thought of like a scalp kind of.
Okay. Okay, you're reading Bookmap right, because I don't have Bookmap open, but I'm seeing the same thing on the level 2 here on my DOS platform. But when you get into something, so you said you got it around like 12, is that right?
1201.
1201 is the price. Okay, so when you get in around 1201, the breakout bar, this little breakout bar is something that would be something to risk against. So as long as there's still volume coming in, you could risk against this kind of breakout bar, because this is where buyers stepped up. So they're down here, they're here, they're here, they're here, they start to run out here, and then they stepped up one more time. So when you get into this, if there's orders still up at 1250 and at 13 and so on, then getting in for this pop up here is a play. But know that if this is lost, they'll probably retest this range. And so you might be a little bit extended for the play. And so the reason why I asked you to follow your plan, or, was it your setup, is because knowing what type of strategy you're putting on is what's important, because this might just be like, you could end up being in a scalp style play, being that you're far away from the breakout area. Or, maybe this is something where you've got a wider stop or something down here, and you're willing to let them kind of test these buyers that stepped up. So you've got the right idea as far as the order book goes. The rest is about being in the right location. And one of the things that you can look at is to help you with that is also the 5-minute chart. So it's really clear on the 5-minute chart here where the buying starts to kick in again. And so if I know that the buyers kicked in down here, then as long as we're above this, we're okay. However, if I enter here and I put a stop like right here or right here, there's a chance that I get tested before it starts to go again, because this is where the most recent buyers stepped in as we're starting to run towards those orders. So they could still run towards those orders. It's just a matter of risk and where your stop might have to be on this to survive based on where the most recent buyers stepped in. If that makes sense. But you got the right idea on the order book. It's just a matter of location of entering on the chart.
Thank you.
Yep.
All right, guys, last 2 minutes or so here before we end this session. So, I'd like to discuss, how's your moment? 10:30, almost there.
Are you getting into SPY, or now that you've restarted your DOS platform?
I think I'm about to fall asleep, to be honest.
That sounds better.
Yeah, this thing is going to take a while, and by the time it gets there, it's going to be after dark on a Friday night, so other things begin.
So what exactly are you looking for? The break of 592.53?
Yeah, I wanted to approach 592.53. I want the 1-minute chart to consolidate up there, and
Okay.
then the breakout. And on the breakout, I'll usually get some, and then a retest. That's when I'll really put on the heavy size, and then let it run for the next level up, which is, I don't even know where, 595.49. So a good solid RVR. It's going to take a few hours to get there, but if that happens. Other than that, if that doesn't happen, I don't see anything setting up yet. But 2 or 3 30-minute candles can show a different setup. You gotta wait and see.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
I like it. Bed is nice.
Yes. Slow and slow and slow. Cool. Everyone else in here happy? You got your questions sorted out? You know what you're doing? Everyone here making a living out of day trading? All good? Nothing to discuss? Are we sorted?
Good deal, Joe. You're welcome. I'm glad that you were able to capture a nice long on QBTS today. It's been on fire for sure.
Yeah, Salim, go ahead. You got a question here?
Yeah, I got a question for Megan.
Yes,
on
Salim.
SMCI. So I was looking at SMCI. It made a great initial move up.
Mm-hmm.
Then at around 10 minutes in, it kind of pulled back pretty hard. And I was looking at the 5-minute chart, and I was looking at a ABCD on the 5-minute, which it held on the view up pretty well. But what really gave me some inconfidence in this trade is the initial pullback. Would you say that's it broke the initial pattern when it pulled back at around 940 like that?
So the 940 pullback is definitely interesting, because notice how high the selling volume is in comparison to before. So all the selling candles here are low in comparison to what happened up here. So there's definitely a seller that stepped in here on the 1-minute chart. So the strength of this that's happening, whoever is in from the morning is bumping up against this seller right here. And you can see that even as we kind of test them, they're trying to sell again up, even though they're breaking them. So pattern wise, when you look for like an ABCD continuation pattern, the thing you actually want to look for when to get it going and have the continuation is you want to have this nice strong volume as it's pushing, and then you should start to see this on like the sell candles on the pullbacks. So it should look similar to when I pulled up earlier hymns, I think it was. So notice on hymns, the selling volume in comparison to all the buying volume is much lower. You want to see that on your ABCD formation with SMCI, because this is really high selling volume, and it's going to make it tricky for this to have a continuation today because of how much volume is here. They're going to have to get enough buyers to really kick in and get on top of that. So to me, it turns into like, is this a good continuation ABCD setup at that point? Because all I'm seeing is actually an area where sellers are going to try to sell for the rest of the day, or for a good portion of the morning at least. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, it does. It kind of makes sense. Like I tried the ABC, but I was hesitant, so I quickly moved my stop loss to break even, and it stopped me out.
Okay, yeah. In your strategy for ABCDs, I'd really encourage you to include what the volume looks like on the pullback, because if it's aggressive, it can lead to more like range bound price action, because now the buyers that have stepped in the morning are up against someone that's actually a little bit heavier. And not to say that it can't continue, it just might take a little while. And what you really want for like that morning continuation, and you want ease. And the only way to have ease is to not have too much supply that kicks in. So you want those pullbacks to be on lower volume.
For sure, yeah, and that is incorporated in my trading.
Okay, good.
Yeah, it's just that I was just curious to know, if someone else was to see this chart, how significant that initial pullback would have been. Because I'm looking at it now and I'm just like, well, that would have I think it would have just messed up anyone's thought process on what actually is happening.
Yeah.
And so hence why I got stopped out, and why it's rejected the high of day 3 times now. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's just too much supply. It's really high. It's almost higher. It might even be higher than the open, or at least right on par with it. It's the most selling volume that happened within the first 45 minutes or so. It's a lot. It's a lot in comparison to the rest of this. There is a big seller there.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
All right. My thought process was right.
Okay, cool.
My emotions got the best of me and I took the trade, but I'm out with break even, so it's okay.
All right. Manage your risk. Sometimes our emotions kick in. We just got to like put that brain back online and say, nope, get out of this thing. That's good. Good stuff. Okay. All right.
Cool.
Are we wrapping?
Yes, we are. So yeah, thanks guys. That was fun. Happy Friday. Hope you all got some good activity this morning. Good action, good trades. I'm still waiting. I might catch something in a few hours. I might not. Otherwise, have a good weekend. For my mentees in here, I'm going to put out the link now for us to start our happy hour and poker night. I'll join you shortly.
I love it.
Rest of you, yeah. Talk to you all soon. Have a great weekend.
Awesome. Have a great weekend, guys. See you later. Bye, Avi.
See ya, Megan.
Thank you.